Hello everyone, Kerbin here, and welcome back to another Redstone video. Today's video was inspired by Ender Rhino on Twitter asking if I can make a crafting table that pops up from the middle of the floor. Now, I thought about this question and I decided that I would create a bunch of designs so that it would cover all pop-up crafting tables. Now these all work in Pocket Edition, Windows 10 Edition, they're all the same edition, but they all work in that version. So we got two designs that pop up from the floor. We've got one design that you can fit in the corner of a room. You got two designs that pop out from the wall, and you've got one design that pops down from the ceiling. I will go over each of them individually, and then I will create a tutorial for each and every one of them. So here's the first design, and arguably the easiest. What we've got here is a design that consists of only 3 bits of redstone, 3 redstone torches, and 2 repeaters, as well as the pistons to push up the blocks. Now, how to make this is quite easy. You just have a block here with a redstone torch. These repeaters, all of the repeaters are on 2 ticks, and pistons in this sort of layout here. Now this is a falling edge design, so it originally was something a lot like this, and it would activate at the end of the pulse. But what I did is I brought up the input to the floor, and I removed this bit of redstone and put a torch right there. So now I've created one, and it was as easy as that. So this second design is quite a bit harder than the first, but all it does is you hit the button here, crafting table pops up one block above the ground, so it's as if you took it and placed it right there, which looks really good and much better than the flush version, but it is quite a bit harder. But press a button again, normal block, which you can change to look like the floor, just in case you didn't know you could do that. Hit the button again, and the crafting table pops back up. Hit it again, and regular block. Now I must warn you, you cannot press the button repeatedly very fast, otherwise the design will break. But let's move on to the next one. Okay, now I did say the first design was the easiest, but I mean, you must admit, this has got to be the absolute easiest you could make it. And I'd have to say that half of the circuitry is actually just getting the lever to the pistons. To do that, you got a sticky piston here, redstone block here, block and redstone routing into this piston here. But if you didn't want the input here and you wanted to run the input off from this direction, all you have to do, you don't even need any of that. You literally just have either a lever, if I can get a lever, there we go, a lever here, and it does like that, or you could wire in a T flip-flop from a button, and that would do the exact same thing. But yeah, that's design number 3. This next design is pretty much the same as the next one, but it is much like the first version in looks. So all you do is you hit the button and it pops out like this, as you would expect. Press it again, press it again, all works. Now, it's a bit more bulky. It's not the best setup, but I did say I will be covering all the designs. Now, the cyan circuit, you could technically make this work with just the cyan circuit, but if you want to make it so that it's as fast as it possibly can be, you just add in this green circuit bit right here. But that's all for this design and all that I can really say about it. So next on to the next design. Now, I have to say, I am pretty proud of this design. I just made it recently, in like the last hour or so, and it is so compact. I mean, look at it. There is virtually no air blocks within the first bit of the circuitry. I had to do a bit of stuff up the top here, but other than that, it works pretty flawlessly, I'd say. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the video, I will be making a tutorial on all of these designs, so don't get freaked out about the redstone if you don't understand anything about it. But let's move on to the last design. Now, this design is quite interesting. It's actually easier than the first version that I showed you in the beginning. So, I mean, yeah, forget about what I said about the first design being the easiest. Yeah. But anyway, here is the drop down from the ceiling one. Uh, yeah, that's a crafting table, not a block of wood, by the way. That actually is a crafting table. I do not recommend this one simply because of the fact that it does look like a block of wood. But if you want to look cool and put it in a ceiling made of wood so it looks like wood, you can be like to your friends, it's a crafting table, not a piece of wood. You go right ahead. But yeah, I mean, yeah, here's a redstone. It's not too hard. Okay, I guess it goes without saying, but we will be doing the first design first. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to dig down 1, 2, 3 blocks, get yourself a sticky piston, go up like this, and put a sticky piston facing upwards 2 blocks below the surface. Then you're going to want to go out 2 blocks to the side, sticky piston facing inwards, on the other side, sticky piston facing inwards. Now you're going to want to find your input block, go down 2 blocks, put redstone on top of that. Make sure that when you hit the input, that the redstone lights up. If you've done that, then you've done it correctly. Then you're going to want a redstone torch like that. Blocks on either sides of this redstone torch right here. Redstone repeaters on 2 ticks, not 3 ticks, 2 ticks, going out into blocks with redstone torches on the side and a piece of redstone on top of those blocks. Do this for both sides. Torch, redstone, and here you're going to want to put a block and repeater on 2 ticks. Now that's it. That is the first version. So if we get ourselves a block, and we'll get ourselves a crafting table, you will see that it works. So that's it for design 1. Now let's move on to design 2. Okay, now the second design is the hardest design, so I will be going through each and every circuit individually. But without further ado, let's get started. So what you're going to want to do first is put the pistons down where they should go. So what you're going to want to do is dig down 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks. Put 2 sticky pistons facing upwards and break those blocks. Now go out 2 blocks. No, you want a regular piston facing inwards and do that to the other side as well. So like that. Then you want to get a sticky piston and you want to put that right there. Next, get your input. It needs to be a button. Any button will do. Then we're going to start to wire up the blue circuit. Okay, now to start off with, you're going to want to finish off the input by putting a sticky piston right there, as well as a redstone block right there. Then you're going to want to put a block there, repeater on one tick, block up like that and down like that, dust, block, repeater, one tick, block and a block, dust and dust. Now block here, repeater there, and there. Oh, no, wrong. Down one block, repeater on one tick, block there, repeater one tick, block up like that, blocks on either side like that, repeater going into there like that, redstone dust there, block there, dust, repeater on three ticks, block up like that, dust, and an observer facing into this extended piston right here. Then you're going to want a torch right there and a block right there. And that is the blue circuit done. Okay, so what I've just done is remove the aesthetic block so you can actually see the circuitry and what we're doing. So start off with, for the green circuit, block like that, repeater on 4 ticks, an observer facing out of that repeater, block down like that, repeater on 4 ticks, block up like that, down like that, redstone there, then block there, repeater on 4 ticks, block up like that, dust, and block there. And believe it or not, that is the entire green circuit done. Now, for the yellow circuit, all you want to do is, out of this block here, just get repeaters, 4 ticks, and 3 ticks. Then put a block right there, an observer right there, connected to this sticky piston right here. And there we have it. It should be all done. So if I cover up this area here, get myself a block and a crafting table, we will see that we do indeed have it working. So that's it. Now on to the third design. So what you're going to want to do is put a block and a block like that, sticky piston facing upwards, then you're going to want to go down from that sticky piston, put another sticky piston facing upwards like that, get yourself a redstone block, put it right there, block out like that, repeater, block, redstone, and repeater, whoops, no, block up, sorry, so repeater, redstone, and a sticky piston right there. Then to finish off, get yourself a block right here, and a crafting table. Then once you get yourself an input, put it right there, and yeah, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? Alright, next design. Okay, so the second last design is pretty much the same as the first design, if not for a few blocks that are placed differently. But start off with blocks out like that, have a sticky piston facing in like that, same on the other side, piston like that, go out 3 blocks, and actually 2 blocks and a piston like that. So you should end up with a setup that looks sort of like that. Now to continue, you're going to want to get your input, which must be a button, put it right there, get yourself a torch, put it right there, repeater, block up like that, and dust. And go out in an L shape, curling into these pistons here, redstone, 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 torch, and torch. Now that is pretty much completed if you don't want the fastest design. So if I just put a, oops, I put a crafting I put a crafting table right there and replace the redstone, you will see there we go. You will see that it works. No, it doesn't. Okay, one moment. Okay, I found the problem. You need repeaters here on 2 ticks, and that will fix everything. So now, if we go back here, and we press button, there we go. We get the block swap, but it doesn't push out straight away. Now to do that, you're going to want to continue on with the green circuit. Now, all you do is you have a block down like that, get these blocks out of the way, redstone down like that, block up like that, redstone torch, block up, redstone, block and a block, redstone repeater on 3 ticks, block up like that, and redstone on top of that piston there. Now, if we drop down, you will see that it is lightning fast, just like all the others. So that's it for the second last design. Let's move on to the... Oh, that's the second last design. Okay, well, let's move on to that design then. Now, this design that I'm super proud of actually does not rely on the same concept as any of the other designs. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, now to start off with, you're going to want a piston layout sort of like this. These are all sticky pistons. You want your filler block there, that can be any block, and you want crafting table right there. Now to start off with, you're going to want to put a redstone repeater coming out of that redstone block right there on 1 tick, block up like that, dust, block, repeater on 2 ticks, block, and a block there, redstone, then a torch right there. Now coming off of that, you're going to want a block there and a block there, torch up like that, block, torch, 2 blocks like that, redstone dust, and a torch right there. Now we're finished, but it is not the fastest design it can be, so let's complete the green circuit. Now to do that, all you want to do is get yourself some blocks like that, redstone, block, repeater, 3 ticks, redstone, and torch right there. And we are now done. Okay, now to start off with, you're going to want a piston layout sort of like this. You have your filler block and your crafting table right there. Now to start off with, you're going to want your input right there. Start off with a torch, 2 repeaters, block, torch, block, block, and dust. Same on the other side, block, torch, block and a block, dust. But for this side, repeater on 2 ticks, and a block there, and a block above this redstone torch. And that is it. Probably the fastest ceiling block swapper I've ever made. Alright everyone, so that is how to make all of my known practical block swappers for crafting tables or light sources or anything like that. Now if you liked, please be sure to leave a like and turn on notifications here and on Twitter to get notified when I upload. But that's all. This is Kerbin, out.